This video is made for adult collectors because, Blockies, this is hilarious. The fact that you gave him the speech bubble too, it's so funny. That's still funny. I've had this mold before. Longtime viewers will know of the stink I made when I got the grapple version, Solar Storm Grapple version of this mold, because I ordered it from TF Source, and the TLDR is the listing said it was brand new in box and it arrived in pieces in a baggie. When I contacted them with screenshots of the original listing saying it was sealed, they changed the listing to say it was used and then sent that back to me and said I was wrong, so I'm just not using their online store anymore. But that whole experience kind of soured me on this mold, but now, having a fresh copy with no tolerance issues, in this nice deep blue, I'm really starting to enjoy it. It's still not great, well, not great in terms of it's aged poorly, but I'm having fun with it. I was surprised when it just walked into my local shop, Comic Alley Toys, not sponsored, and they wanted only 40 bucks Canadian for the thing. Funny thing was that I was humming and hawing about this, and the owner said to me, "You know you want it," or something along those lines, and I went, fuck it, alright, I'm buying it. That tends to be how most of my transactions in that store go. But to me, this is like the most Transformer a Transformer has ever looked in a while. It's kind of hard to describe, but like, you say Transformer and this is just that. It's so hard to convey what looking at this feels like in that context and in the context of the brand, but I think you get what I mean. The blue is like unrivaled to me. This is the most blue boy outside of like this blur that I own, but it looks much nicer on Hotspot here. The silver, the light pinkish red lights, the jet black parts, they really make all that blue pop so much more than it does on the other blurs. He is pretty chunky too, fitting of a man who turns into a fire truck like this. The coolest thing about this design to me though is the shoulder pads, which I like to leave flared out like this because to me that just makes him look a bit more dynamic and cooler. These panels on the arms are supposed to rotate around. It's not mentioned in the instructions, but it is pictured, but mine are like stuck. And seeing as this is the GDO version, I don't really want to break them. All right, let's see if we can, do we have to like pull them out? No, they're not going to pull out. Can I spin them? Oh, they don't want to move. Do they slide? No. How do you what? Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. That was terrible. All right, let's do this side. Oh, okay. I did it. Yay, now he can look normal. That was scary. I didn't like that. I like the underslung cannon. Part of me though wishes it was a ladder, but seeing as the grapple one was longer and kind of got in the way, and I'm okay with this one not being massive. It does fire a missile though that is water, but it will probably still kill you. He does have a weird build and only really looks good from the front proportionally, because from the side he's weird. The torso sticks out quite a lot, and then there's nothing at the back to counter that. His arms sit a little bit further back behind the head, and the legs also sit a bit further back behind the head, making him from top, side, side back, and lower shots look a bit strange to me. He also does have a lot of structure at the back. Part of me is happy he doesn't have an egregious backpack, but it's so anti-backpack here that it digs into the torso and looks about as weird as it would if he did have something massive jutting out the back. The hip articulation is so weird. I'll explain in greater detail in a bit, but it works so strange that posing him just kind of sucks. Well, sucks in the lower body because the upper body is actually fine. The head sculpt is so mean and I love it. It doesn't really fit an Autobot Fire Chief or anything, but I don't care. It looks badass with that mouth plate and those red eyes. And that nice head is on a ball joint? I can't quite tell if it's a universal or a ball joint, but it does rotate and look up and down. The shoulders can do a full 360 on ratchet joints, and then the shoulder pads can move out of the way to allow for the shoulders to go out on a nice smooth motion. He does have standard bicep swivels and wrist rotation. There is no waist joint, and that's where the articulation starts to suck hard. So the hip skirt moves out of the way. It is one solid piece, but the hips themselves, that's as far as they go out because they are attached to these weird plates at the back. It's such an odd design, and they go forward and back using a hinge joint and a swivel. Never did I think we would see actual Y joints on a Transformer, but here we are. Surely there had to be an easier way though, just using standard universal joints. Like that wouldn't really get in the way. These hips aren't needed for transformation. I feel like they just tried to be clever here and took it too far. He does have a 90-degree bend at the knee and a below the knee swivel, and then ankle tilts. They're minimal, but it is cool that they're there on something this old. Yeah, those hips really ruin any sort of fun you can have with posing this robot because they just work so weird. I hate Y-jointed hips. So quickly, this is Hot Rod. And this is a universal joint. So it goes forward and back and in and out, and it pivots here and here. So it's like a 90-degree angle. A Y joint is where it's just going straight up. Take the Blockies Mando here, the hands. So there's a hinge in the middle and then a joint here and a joint here for the rotation. But in order to get it to go in and out, you have to flip the joint around, and now you can go in and out, but you can't go forward and back. That is a Y joint. Old action figures used to use those in the hips. Like a lot of Toy Biz figures would use them in the hips. It was just so annoying. And the reason it was called a Y joint is because it moves on a Y axis as opposed to the 90-degree axis. You have to it's like a disc and then two sticks that would go like this in the shape of a Y. They're so bad, and they put it on here. But even with the bad hip design, I still can't deny that this looks amazing and I love it. It is such a nice looking robot. Truck time. So this thing's pretty fun to transform now that, you know, nothing wants to fall. Oh, my foot's gone numb. Ah! Oh, my foot's gone numb. God, I hate this feeling. But yeah, he's pretty fun to transform now that all his limbs want to stay on, unlike the last one I had where his arms would fall off. It's pretty easy to do. Getting these in place might be a little bit annoying, but the first thing you want to do is pull this back section out and then fold the head in. And to bring it out again, you just go bloop. I love that. Bloop. I kind of wish Transformers still did this. That'd be fun. But you fold the head in. Then you want to take these really stiff panels and... Oh no. Oh no, it doesn't want to move. Oh! Okay, that's one side. This side should be a little easier. Oh, okay. Once you have that done, we're going to fold these panels out all the way and then straighten the arms out and rotate them this way on both sides and bring these panels out to the front. We're then going to rotate the lower legs 180 degrees and peg them together, and then fold the toes in. Now this toe likes to get stuck right here, and I don't know why, but it just doesn't want to, it never wants to, there we go. It just never wants to work properly. But once you have that done, ugly sprue marks, you're going to take the front section here, fold that up, and then take the entire mid torso, bring it back, and it's going to peg into this black piece. Then you fold out the wheels. And then you want to deal with the shoulder pads. So underneath here are the windows, so you fold them out on both sides. Then you close this section up while bringing this down so that it all sits into place, because these are going to peg together. So once you have that in, you want to peg them together here and then peg them in at the side of the truck. So get that all smooshed into place properly. Then you get the arms in, and they're going to hook tab back here. So you get them into place. I kind of wish they also pegged into the legs themselves, like in the middle here. That would have been nice. You rotate this section around 180 degrees. Then you fold this piece out, and it's going to peg into here, and it's going to keep all of this straight, because right now it's not straight. So you're going to bring those out on both sides, and then you just shift everything down, and it will peg together and hold it all in place, and boom, fire truck. It's pretty simple back and forth. The only thing I don't like is just getting these pegged in because of how thin this piece is. But everything else is quite nice. I didn't do that properly. There we go. Everything else is quite nice. I like it. That is probably the best fire truck alt mode we've ever gotten. Oh shit, hang on. I actually have the original Hotspot. I just remembered. Here he is. Yeah, that's neat. Okay, but back to the modern one. This is my favorite fire truck alt mode out of any of the fire truck alt modes we've gotten. One day I will get the pyro one. I want that. But I love the massive step at the front and the blue rims. That mixed with the flames on the side and the little bits of valve and hose detail throughout. Yeah, the top is just the arms and the feet. They probably could have covered that a bit better, but this thing is a solid brick. Nothing wants to fall out of place. The big ugly sprue marks on the back though are a bit much, to be honest. And I read that this was an issue on other versions of this mold. I don't remember it on my grapple, but I don't remember much about my grapple other than me selling it. They painted all the windows along the sides, which is nice. I can kind of see modern day Hasbro not doing that. The water cannon can rotate and go up and down on the top, and it can shoot anyone it wants, which is totally not a deadly water arrow. It's such a nice hotspot. I'd recommend it, honestly, if you want a good hotspot that doesn't combine, because this doesn't do that. But knowing Hasbro, we will get a Commander Class 1 in a few years that will probably feel and look a lot better than this thing and have hips that don't suck. But this is cool. I like it. And that's been my look at GDO Hotspot. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I just cracked my finger, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.